Sienna says, if we are trying to recognize and move away from identities that we took on through conditioning, is the goal to have essentially no identity? I wouldn't say it's the goal. I would say it's the truth, right? I would say it's the truth that eventually, when you do this work, you will start to see that any identity you have is transitory. At one point, I said, I'm a stand up comic, I'm a transformational speaker, right? Is my identity I'm a dad? At one point, I wasn't, right? Is that my identity? Right? I'm not saying these aren't here or clothes that I get to wear or energies that I get to have, but my identity would have to be like, if it's changeable, I know I can, if we're fine with an identity being completely passing, it's okay to have that identity. If you can be okay with that it's passing, it's totally fine to have that identity. But if you can see it's passing, then what are you? If you can see that it's passing, if you can literally see my identity as I work at this store next to Bill, and then you quit and you see I no longer have that identity, then what is the you that's looking at the different identities? What's the you that is in this relationship and then is single and is this person who lives here and is this person that achieved and is this person that is a victim? All of these things are passing. And if you can see they're passing and you're seeing them, then what are you? You must be something that's bigger than a labelable identity. You must be something that's bigger than an identity that we can label. Do you hear that, Sienna? You must be, because they're changeable. So then you start to go, then I must be all that is. I must be all that is. I must be some permanent energy. You can't even have the identity of your age or your gender. You can't have the identity, right? Like this stuff. So are you the body? Are you the? I mean, what? That's this stuff's changeable, right? Are you the identity of the weight that you have? In fact, a lot of people have a hard time with issues in their life because they have an identity of I'm broke. If I change, then that's the death of my identity, right? Do you hear that? So Sienna says, I was told by my shadow worker that I need to have an identity to work towards, that I needed to build one for the new me that I'm visualizing, to dream about the higher one. It had me wondering, is it worthwhile to visualize your higher self as an identity, your new version of yourself? You are welcome to do that. If you want to couple that advice with mine, you could work towards this, which is what I do through meditation, connecting to the truest identity that I can authentically see as me, all that is. Right? Because if my identity is I am broke, then that would be, it would be death to me to become rich. If my identity is that I'm in relationships, it would be death to me to become single. Do you hear that? If your identity is anything that has any limitation on it, you're screwed. And if your identity is something that's amazing, then you're still screwed, because you're even more amazing than the greatest identity that you've ever had or ever could have, right? It's even more undefinable than that. So there's so much power in understanding that there's actually no truth in those labelable identities. And you are so welcome to do what that shadow worker does. That's great advice on a certain level of consciousness. And then it's up to you if you want to go, no, I'm going to have the identity of this, but know that it's transitory. You have to be okay with that. It's transitory, that I am now single. Well, then you're going to be rigid. That's what people do, is they go, you can undo the identity from everything. You could be like, I'm an introvert isn't necessarily true. You get what I'm saying? I'm someone who gets things done all the time isn't necessarily true. It's all these things are open. So do you hear how, and by the way, when I say something like I am abundance, I just mean open-ended possibility. I am change. I am infinite. I am joy. Right. And then you just see, then you're now much closer to what you truly are, which is kind of something that no words could ever say, but it's something that you could feel that's beyond the realm of time, that was here before the body was born, will be here after it's dead, way beyond anything. You are all that is. I can disprove any identity any person gives me. If you say, no, I am this, okay, were you always that? And will you always be that? Everything you say, right? And I mean, before the body even existed, right? So when we go, for instance, and you also attach meanings, right? For instance, if you say, I'm a mother, I understand that. That's great. Or you say, I'm a father. But a lot of times we have a decision of what the roles are that are attached to that. Like, what's a mother supposed to do in this situation versus what the God me is just going to do in the now. Do you see the difference? Right? When we go, I'm as a father, I need to, okay, I'm deciding the role of a father versus through societal conditioning versus just bringing the now to my daughter. That's a different answer, right? That's a different thing, right? And weirdly, the fact that I'm her father still exists, but I don't need to be caught in the identity of that, right? So this is why moving away from identities is not just like a beneficial thing that'll help you with your life. It will, but it's true, right? It's actually true. And we're just about getting to the truth of what we are, right? And there's no way you could be an identity because it'll change and you're still here, right? So enjoy the identifying with the deepest identity you could find, which is all that is. Have you gotten the new pass yet? It's $299 for a year. Do you understand this? I'm going crazy with sales. I can't believe it. Look at here. AEP $299. Another the same AEP if you want to get it twice. $299. Another like I'm going insane. You're killing me, Steve. Albertsons. It's you got to get the I'm going nuts. So I can't believe these deals I'm doing. It's so why aren't you there? It's so much.